Okay, so we are test driving a Tesla Model Y. It's brand new. It's a launch edition. And so we're going back to the dealership. And the whole street is lined with protesters with their anti-fascism signs out, which is so crazy because they came up to me and started screaming and yelling. Oh, look at this. Oh my God. This chick literally has a defund Doge sign. What an idiot. Defund Doge. Defund the department. No one's funding him. No one's funding Doge. I never in a million years thought I would live to see the day where American citizens would be anti-wasteful government spending. Not to mention the fraud and the abuse of the American taxpayer. They're like, steal from us. Ugh. I can't. But then again, these are the same people who rioted in the streets for something that they had no part in. These are the same people that cheered on October 7th and literal massacres. These people are absolutely insane, and it's embarrassing. And I am so glad that I don't subscribe to leftist ideology.
What's that?
We are not parking next to that thing.
To what?
I don't want to be anywhere near that thing. I don't want to get out near that thing. Oh my gosh, it's right there. That means they're in there. Whoever it is, they're going to be in.
Because it doesn't make any bit of sense.
They claimed there was 30,000 people, but they got all the cell phone data, and they found out there was 24,000 cell phones. So they fudged it a little bit. That sounds normal. But they also said that a huge number of these people had been to 20-plus events and a lot of other different, progressive events. And it seems like, at least on some of them, for sure, they were paying people. So they're giving people money to get on a bus, go to this place, here's your sign, go have fun. And so you're doing something different, right? You're pretending that these people are all coming out to see you. But they're coming out to see you because you're giving them money and free food.
Right.
And, you handed out water bottles and everybody gets a sign and everybody seems like they're kind of a part of a team. And for a lot of losers, a lot of people that don't have things going well in their life, and what do we I was a loser at many points in my life. If somebody called me up and said, hey, man, you want to make $400 and just go to this Kamala Harris rally? I'm like, yeah, let's go. I would 100% go. I would 100% go with no political. And then I'd probably think she's cool. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm fucking voting for her, dude. He's Hitler. That guy, we got to stop Hitler. And I'd be holding up that stupid sign. If you found me when I was 21, 100% I would have taken that $400.
Joe Rogan's THC-induced unfiltered honesty. How refreshing. And Joe Rogan's take here taps into a real vulnerability. People who are struggling, maybe desperate for cash and not particularly tied to any ideology, could easily be swayed into doing something like that for a quick buck. It's not hard to imagine $400 might not sound like much to some, but for others, it's a lifeline. Enough to cover rent, food, or a couple dozen eggs these days with prices the way that they are or were. And the idea of someone handing you money to wave a sign and shout slogans, no questions asked, could look pretty tempting if you're not thinking too hard about the bigger picture or just don't care to. It's a sharp observation about human nature and economics, not just politics. People with little to lose and no strong convictions are prime targets for anyone, Democrat, Republican, or otherwise, looking to drum up a crowd. And history is full of examples of folks being paid to swell the ranks of a rally or protest, no deep belief required. Rogan's point seems less about pinning it on one party and more about how exploitable that desperation is, especially when someone's not clued in to the game that's being played. But what do you think? Does it ring true that cash could override principles for a lot of people right now?
Yeah.
They were giving out $1,000 for people to protest. I think it was Tesla. I'm not sure about that, but I think it was Tesla. But so they had like the rules of engagement. If someone comes after you, hit them in the body. Don't pick up an object unless they pick up an object first. Like, are you organizing gangs? Like, are you guys paying money for people and then literally saying to them, here's what happens if you engage in violence? Like, why is that even on the table? I thought you guys were peacefully protesting. Like,
turning now to global protests targeting Tesla. Demonstrators gathering around the world and from coast to coast in the U.S. for so-called Tesla takedowns, outraged by Elon Musk and Doge's massive cuts to the federal workforce. It comes as the electric car maker is facing acts of vandalism and other crimes.
Musk says several of his Doge employees have actually received death threats. With a global day of action set for March 29th, organizers calling for peaceful protests at Tesla locations this Wednesday across the globe, including this one right here in Austin. The FBI will surely be on high alert.
who's going to get how many pro-Tesla fucking hooligans are out there that have beaten people up for Tesla? Is it fucking zero? I have not seen a bunch of pro-Tesla gang members out there. So what are you going to encounter with this anti-Tesla movement? The police? Like, who's going to stop you from doing? Who's going to engage with you? Like, this is, you're kind of talking in a way that at least puts it on the table that violence might take place. And you're paying people.
However, said violence can only take place during normal business hours, and these paid protesters must abide by federal labor and union laws. So 12 noon is quitting time, y'all. Whoa, this proves it. Anti-Tesla protesters left immediately at 12 p.m. on the dot. In other words, they were on the clock and got paid or shipped in. Nothing about this is organic. This was in Southlake, Texas, and new Tesla protesters stopped protesting at the Southlake, Texas Tesla store the moment the clock read 12 p.m. They all immediately left the minute it was noon. Odd. And breaking, far left-wing activists who protested the Southlake, Texas Tesla shop immediately left when its clock read 12 p.m. These people were more than likely shipped in, and they defended illegal aliens as well.
Yeah, kiss mine, pal. Go back to Mexico. I respect your point of view. I respect your point of view. Yeah, say across the border, Pedro. I respect your point of view. Yeah, we don't respect yours because yours is nothing. They have no point of view. They say we don't want Social Security. We do. We don't like vets. We do. They're nothing but a bunch of liars.
And to make matters worse, breaking, Tesla protesters have scripted chants on a piece of paper just in case they forget their lines. Fortunately, we have proof, because you really can't make this stuff up, folks. But bringing receipts definitely helps in telling the story. Please share.
And now the police are having to get through here because, of course,
these people want you to eat them. This is a place of lies.
Don't know what's going on there, but there's a whole major big police presence. Wow, 4 police officers just took off. I can't imagine why. These people are absolutely insane. I just got back to Tesla. The protesters are still here. I'm going to pull into the Tesla dealership right here. Actually, I'm going to pull in the main entrance because I can.
Now you have arrived at your destination.
Tesla, I just want to say Tesla, the dealership is full of people buying Tesla, so whatever they're doing is not working. So I just wanted to say that. How do you park a Tesla? Right here. You just hold this in. We got an idiot with a megaphone. Car is parked.
Yeah.
And they, because they destroyed language, now it sort of logically makes sense, right? If these people are Nazis. If you actually thought they were Nazis.
Right.
Like, if you actually thought Nazis had taken over your country, you'd pick up a gun, right?
You shouldn't need $1,000 and free lunch. $1,000 and free lunch is crazy.
You need to smooth things over, make it easier.
Yeah, you need to subsidize your movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have a hard time doing the $1,000 one. I'd be like, bro, we're going to jail. I'd be like, I'm not that stupid. I'll hold the sign. I'll go to the rally. But if I was 21, they said, look, $1,000, I want to protest against Tesla. I'd be like, hold on. What happens if we get arrested? Like this guy's rich.
Yeah.
Like, he's not gonna let you light his fucking cars on fire, stupid. He's the richest man on earth. Like, what are you talking about?
He is rich. And so is President Trump. And while George Soros and the Democratic Party pay protesters to stand in front of Tesla dealerships with handwritten chants, Elon Musk and President Trump continue to win for the American people. And meanwhile, Dems continue losing it for their less than half of the American people. And this news here, New York lawmakers are targeting Tesla's ability to sell cars directly to consumers in the state, citing what they view as massive issues with Elon Musk. And State Senator Pat Fahey has introduced legislation this week that would revoke the permits for Tesla's 5 existing direct sales locations by July of 2026. As if we didn't have enough problems with the weaponization of the Department of Justice and the legal system, and now you see this happening. This is not okay, folks. If the bill passes, it would maintain a cap of 5 licenses for electric vehicle manufacturers statewide, but allow other companies like Rivian and Lucid to compete for those permits, effectively cutting Tesla out of the state. It's a legal loophole, and honestly, guys, at the end of the day, it really only hurts the Democrats and the people of the state of New York. And J.D. Vance is right. It is this brain-dead liberalism pretending to be conservatism that saw the U.S. go from the world's manufacturing superpower to one in which the PRC, People's Republic of China, makes nearly twice as much as we do, and where, if the small island of Taiwan fell to an invasion, we'd be hurled into a Great Depression. This is not just about a few union workers. This is about a globalized economic system in which the United States absorbs much of the producer surplus of the world. A system whose brittle supply chains expose our economic vulnerability after COVID. And speaking of those auto workers, this guy has such contempt for. It was the auto workers of the 1940s who allowed the United States to go from a peacetime economy to the best mass producer of aircraft the world had ever seen. And by this logic, it should be illegal for the United States to control our borders because that makes it impossible for employers to buy and sell labor at the price that they choose. President Trump believes in borders. He believes in economic self-sufficiency. He believes America should be a great nation. And these Democrats are trying to make our nation anything but.
Governor Kemp thought he would have a sweetheart deal.
Wow, there's somebody you don't want to bring home to your mom.
Georgia, watch Vigilante Inc.
Wow, there's a group of people you don't. Wow. Look at this guy with his face tattoos. He's probably I don't even want to say scary. Look at all those facial tattoos. Ew. I wonder if these people are being paid to be here. Look at these people. Look at the face diaper. Wow, look at how many. Look at them. There's a big crowd. Look at that. Woo.
And why is that girl right next to him?
Look at this scumbag, dude. I can smell him from here.
How can you?
Cybertruck sucks. The only reason why they say Cybertruck sucks is because they can't afford one. There are more people in the dealership than there are outside.
Absolutely. The push for financial independence and global strength is a unifying thread here. Trump and Musk, through Department of Government Efficiency, are tackling government inefficiency head on. Think slashing waste, streamlining agencies, and rethinking how taxpayer dollars flow. Musk's vision, paired with President Trump's directives, aims to secure a future where America isn't bogged down by debt or bureaucracy. And for Senator Kennedy, well, he's got a knack for cutting through the noise. His blunt warning about the financial crisis hits the nail on the head, and it's all about acting now to preserve freedom and dominance. And it's a message that's resonating.
You know, Senator, it's the way they've committed crimes for years. You just take another address, you call them and tell them that you moved.
I think, Judge, that Mr. Musk and his team's efforts to control spending are the most important in the history of ever, certainly in my lifetime. My Democratic colleagues would prefer that we ask who needs to pay more in taxes. The American people want us to ask what the hell happened to the money. Since 2019, America's population is up 2%. Spending's up 55%. President Biden's favorite type of spending was more. This led to inflation and debt. But it wasn't just the quantity, it was the quality, as Mr. Musk is showing us. A lot of this money that we're spending, things that you're spending money on are just money sucks. They're spending porn. We'd be better off spending this money on scratch tickets and blackjack. And we will never get prices down and control inflation until we deregulate the economy so goods and services will cost less, until we design a tax code that looks like somebody designed it on purpose, and until we control spending. That's just Econ 101.
I agree, but Senator, I hope that Elon is listening tonight, because we have a suggestion on the next Doge cut, Biden's broadband plan. Take a listen.
More than 3 years ago, Congress created the $42.5 billion BEAD program to bring broadband services to unserved parts of the country. But to date, it has not connected a single household to the internet. The Biden administration chose to add a host of conditions to the funding that made it unworkable for many providers.
And you know, Senator, it kind of reminds me of all those...
And so basically, President Trump, Elon Musk, DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, we are all working to improve the future of America's financial freedom and global dominance through independence. And as always, Senator John Kennedy has a way with words as he shares with Judge how, simply put, if we don't fix our financial crisis now, America is Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like the video.